Good afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday, September 1st at 3 o'clock p.m., and that means it's time for Women in Business. First of all, can I say, how the heck is it September already? It seems like it was, I don't know, March, like 2 minutes ago. So it's just blowing my mind that we are on September now. I can't quite wrap my head around that, although I will say yay, because September is my most favorite season of the year. Well, not September, fall. Fall would be my most favorite season of the year, but fall starts in September. So September is my most favorite month. I don't know. Apparently, I can't talk anymore. But a few bits of housekeeping before we start in with the topic that we're going to talk about today. First thing, you are not hallucinating if you think there was supposed to be a guest. There was supposed to be a guest, and as happens recently, apparently, there was a conflict. The guest was not able to be here. I'm going to circle around in a couple of months and hopefully reconnect with her and get her to be on the show, because I think we have the makings of a really good discussion with this person, but just didn't work out for this week. So instead, we are going to talk about self-care during the holiday season, because anybody who's been in the garment decoration industry for any length of time has probably found out that the holiday season can be really stressful. And that is just how it goes if you run a garment decoration business. So I wanted to talk about some self-care ideas, because I think it's important to put that out there before all the chaos and the madness starts. But before I do that, I do want to talk about one thing. Any of you who have been around for any length of time know that I run a group called Women in Garment Decoration. It's there on the screen. Great group, amazing women, helpful and supportive and funny and fun, and just a real terrific tribe of women. We are at 999 members. We need one more member to make 1,000. And obviously I'd like to go over 1,000, but 1,000 would be a nice milestone. So I'm just asking anybody who's watching, who has a group or has a page or something where there might be people, women obviously, who could benefit from being a member of our group, please share it, because that would be really helpful. And I'd love to see us pass the 1,000-person mark. So I would really appreciate that. Let's go back and check on some comments. Hello, Wendy. Nice to see you. Carolyn thinks I need a guest. I'm working on guests. I'm flying to Fort Worth next week, and hopefully I'll recruit some guests while I'm there. I do what I can. There was a guest booked for this week. It just didn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't. And yes, Carolyn is doing a biking self-care challenge. She's biking to raise funds for children's cancer. So I think that's definitely something to support. You can go to her profile or her page and support that. Good afternoon, Cindy. Thank you. I'm glad you like the topic. I like the topic too. Tanya says, wanted to say hi before my next meeting starts. Your group rocks. I'll share in my group later. Thank you, Tanya. And Tanya is another one that I will hopefully be meeting in Fort Worth, and I'm so excited. Cindy King says, I think everyone is just praying that we have products so we can kill ourselves during the holiday. That's one of the things I'm going to talk about today, Cindy. Carolyn, put a pin in that about you being a guest, because there are options I'm thinking about where you could be quite useful, shall I say. So let's put a pin on that. Carolyn, you are great without the guests. No worries. Thank you. I like to think I do all right on my own. I do enjoy guests. I'm not going to lie. Guests are a whole lot of fun. And the last guest I had, Tracy Johnston Aldworth, was amazing and so inspiring and fun. So, I love having guests. It just doesn't always work out that way. So we take what is in front of us when Wednesday at 3 o'clock rolls around. Sheila says, I'll share in my group and page. We can get your group over the edge. Thank you, Sheila. Love it that you will do that. Okay. what we're going to talk about today. And why did that banner not go away? Or why did that comment not go away? Because I forgot to turn it off would probably be why that comment didn't go away. See how I am? So let's talk about our subject for today, which is self-care during the holidays. Anybody who has been a garment decorator for longer than 5 minutes, or who has been a garment decorator and has worked through at least one holiday season, knows that the holiday season is, I don't even know what the word is it can be an endurance race for decorators. It's busy. You're trying to deal with running a business and getting orders done and meeting client requests, and also prepping for the holidays for your family and getting gifts and doing parties and whatever else it is that you need to do. And there's a lot of stuff that comes into this. So one of the things that the first tip that I want to discuss is start planning for the holidays now. And I will say this, when I first came into this industry, somebody mentioned to me like roundabout September, that, oh yeah, Christmas was coming up and we really had to start thinking about that. And my response was, why? Christmas isn't months away. What in the world do we need to spend any time thinking about Christmas in September? Now, disclaimer, Christmas ain't my favorite holiday. Christmas is probably pretty low on the list of holidays that I like. So there was kind of my instinctive, Christmas. I don't like Christmas. But I also didn't understand that for garment decorators, Christmas can be a huge profit generator, but it's also a huge work generator. And if you don't start thinking about it in terms of buying supplies and scheduling orders and setting deadlines in September, you're going to hit the holiday season and not be ready in any shape or form to get anything done. And especially this year, because as we all know, inventory is, how do I put this politely, an adventure right now. Inventory is a conundrum right now. You can't necessarily guarantee that anything's going to be available. And if you can find it, it may not be in the quantity that you need. You need to have backups for the backups and redundancies for the redundancies, because that's just how this is going to work this year. It sucks, but it's how it's going to work. So you need to be thinking now about, okay, what do I want to offer my customers for the holidays? If I want to do stockings or cubbies or whatever it is, who has what available and what can I get? Because the last thing you want is to promote an item that you then find out you can't get or can only get a limited quantity of. You don't want to do that to yourself, because that's an added layer of stress that you just don't need. So get your inventory needs and your inventory purchases in order now, because the other thing you got to know is suppliers are already missing some things. They're already backed up. They're already low on staff. Let's figure out how it's going to be when everybody suddenly realizes that the holidays are coming and they all place humongous orders at the same time. So the sooner you get your orders done, the sooner you figure out what it is you need, the sooner you start setting your deadlines and letting your customers know what's going to be happening this year, the easier, I won't say easier, the smoother perhaps things will run for you. So that's what you need to look at, is even though it seems like it's hugely early, start thinking about what you can do in your business for the holidays now, and also start thinking about what can you do for your personal holidays. Can you order some gifts now and get that out of the way? Can you figure out some things you can make and freeze so you can pull them out for family parties or holiday parties? Can you do holiday cards now? So all you have to do is put a stamp on the envelope and send them out, if that's something that you do. There's a number of ways that you can look at the schedule and look at the tasks you have before you and start knocking some things out now before you're working 12, 14, 16, 18, 20-hour days and you don't have time to do anything else. The whole idea is to plan now so you avoid making yourself or anyone else crazy later. And you don't need to end your holidays or to spend your holidays being totally exhausted because you worked your ass off the whole time. Planning helps, but you need to start now, especially, I'm going to emphasize this a lot, especially since we know that inventory is going to be problematic, that suppliers are working with shortages and they're working with staff shortages, and shipping may be delayed. All that stuff is going to factor into your stress level this holiday season. So avoid making yourself crazy. Do it. Do yourself a favor. Do what you can do now and make a plan. And I mean, it sounds stupid, but sit down and make a list. This is everything I need to do. And you can divide it into business and personal if you want to. But this is what I need to do for the business to get ready for the holidays. And this is what I need to do for my family to get ready for the holidays. And here's all the things that I can job out to other people, or here's all the things that I need to do by this date, whatever it is. And then just start ticking things off your list. The more time you spend planning now, hopefully the less time you will have to spend being crazy later. Ooh, we got comments here. Let me see. Hi, Martha. Nice to see you. And Wendy says, hi, I'm not a Christmas fan myself. That was even before I started in this industry. Yes. And Carolyn also points out we are now running a couple of programs in the Women in Garment Decoration group, Marketplace Monday and In Search of Sunday. Both of those are designed to help you find inventory or things you might need when you're having difficulty finding them elsewhere. It also can facilitate people who have a stash of something that they don't need, getting it into the hands of someone else who could potentially use it. So keep an eye out for those. Marketplace Monday obviously goes up on Mondays. In Search of Sunday goes up on Sundays, obviously. The day is in the title, Christine, so it's kind of hard to screw that one up. But anyway, Lisa Shaw says, always good to plan ahead. And yes, it is. Cindy says, last year there was product available and customers were afraid to order. This year, no product and customers wanting to order. So yes, there's a lovely dichotomy of things happening. And, you know, it is what it is. And this year we're going to have to get creative. That's just how it's going to be. And Kylene is watching. Hi, Kylene. Thank you for being here. So the next thing that I do want to talk about is this. Set order deadlines and stick to them. Now, by order deadlines, I mean you will see almost every garment decoration company owner, or on every garment decoration company website, there'll be something that says all items for Christmas or all items for the holiday must be ordered by X date, and there will be no orders taken after this date. Now, a few things to think about when you're picking your order deadline date. And sorry, but my support pillow is not behaving like it needs to keep me in the right position. So I had to adjust. There are a few things to think about when you're thinking about what your order deadline should be. The first thing you need to think about is, okay, remember your order deadline is not when you plan to be done with the orders. It's when you plan to stop taking orders. So you may have a stack of orders that's huge and you just can't take anymore. So the order deadline is when you are not going to take any new orders. That is not when you're going to finish orders. So when you're planning that deadline, make sure you plan in the time that it's going to take to finish whatever orders you expect to get. And I know it's hard to forecast sometimes, but you also need to be doing the math when you're taking the orders as they come. Okay, if I take this order for 10 hoodies, then how long is it going to take me to do that? And if I take this order for 14 stockings, and if I take this order for 400 screen printed shirts or whatever it is, how long is it going to take me to do that? And then adjust your timing and your target accordingly. Because what you want to avoid, there are a couple of things you want to avoid. Number one is you want to avoid working until Christmas Eve. You want to leave enough time in your schedule so that you can create whatever holiday you want to create for your family, that you can create whatever, you can do whatever holiday traditions or parties or whatever you want to do without being exhausted or feeling like you're stealing time away from getting work done. So you want to make sure that as you're taking the orders in, you're doing the math to make sure that you're being realistic with what you're doing. And I get that this is the time of year when a lot of money comes in. I get that it's always tempting to overestimate. Don't do that, because you know on the backside of that is a person who's going to be exhausted and who's going to not enjoy their holidays with their family. And honestly, money ain't worth that. And yes, Jean just made a really good point here. Remember to order your backings, thread, etc. now before shipping prices increase. This is a good point too. So I like that one. But I need to turn that one off. But as far as order deadlines go, make sure it's a realistic deadline. And your cutoff can be whatever you want. If you want to say you have to have your Christmas orders in by Thanksgiving, do it. If you want to say you have to have them in by November 1st, do it. It's your deadline. Now, a more realistic deadline probably would be maybe by Thanksgiving or the beginning of December. It depends on your business and how many customers you're dealing with and what size orders you're dealing with and what your production capacity is and how fast you can get things done. And all those things are specific to you. You know what those things are. So you need to be realistic about what you can do. There's a tendency to want to overestimate or assume that you can get things done. I always tell people, and I don't think this is a silly way to handle it, to add an oops factor or a Murphy's Law factor or a fudge factor or whatever you want to call it, and assume that whatever you think a job is going to take, it's probably going to take a half an hour or an hour more than you think it will. And then if you build that factor in, you're also going to have the ability to make mistakes if you do and resolve them without it being a stressful thing. And if you don't make mistakes, then hey, you've got a little extra time, or you don't have problems. You have a little extra time that you can then use to relax, take a nap, have some food, do another task for your personal Christmas, whatever you need to do. But make sure that you're being realistic about how you're scheduling things, because the urge is always to grab all the profit you can grab, but profit isn't going to help if you get sick. Profit isn't going to help if you're too tired to enjoy the holidays with your family. So be realistic about it. The other thing, and this is one that I hear every year, every holiday season. Well, I had order deadlines and I had everything scheduled, and then this really good customer of mine came in after the deadline, but they told me it was only a few things, and couldn't I please help them? And I felt bad, and so I said I would. And then their few things turned out to be 14 individual stockings and 5 hoodies and a leather jacket that they wanted 3 patches put on, and now I'm working on Christmas Eve. Your order deadlines are your order deadlines. If somebody comes to you after the order deadline, there's a handy little 2-letter word that you can learn called no. And don't say, no, I'm sorry. Don't say I'm sorry at all. You're not sorry. You set a deadline based on what you knew you could do. And if people can't get their shit together to ask you to do things by your deadline, then they need to find somebody else to do them for them, or they need to go without them. And that sounds really hard ass and kind of bitchy, but it's not. It's protecting your time. Your time has value, both monetarily and in terms of health and wellness and just your enjoyment of the holiday season too. And you deserve to enjoy your holidays as little or as much as you want, just like everyone else does. So don't allow people to encroach on your time. and don't lapse on your deadlines because it's a really good customer. Or this lady was so nice and she told me it was just these two things that she needed. Don't do it because it's a trap. I'm telling you right now, it is a trap. Because once you break the rules for one person, then it's easier to break the rules for the next person. Now, I suppose if you have planned and you planned in your fudge factor and you ended up not having any mistakes, then if you have a little time left over, you could potentially take on a project, an extra project that you didn't plan on. That, I suppose, is up to you. But honestly, the extra money is probably not going to be enough to justify working more. If you made a plan and you have a schedule and you know what you're doing and you get everything done and you have a little extra time that you didn't think you were going to have, yay for you. Use it to do something for yourself. Think of it as an early Christmas present or an early holiday present, whatever your holiday of choice is, for yourself. Don't bend on the deadlines because I've heard it too many times. People just let the one order in and then that one person tells someone else. And then pretty soon you've got a mushroom and you've got 4 last minute orders that people then don't want to pay for or aren't appreciative of. Don't do it. It just isn't worth it. It just isn't worth it. And yes, Martha, no is a complete sentence. Exactly. So this is one that I really want to emphasize because, like I said, I have heard so many of my garment decorator friends complaining about, this lady asked me at the last minute to do this thing and she was beyond the deadline and I helped her out because she said it was a special present for someone and then she got pissy because I wouldn't deliver it to her house, or she argued about how much I charged her because I charged her a rush charge or whatever it is. Honestly, 99% of the time, breaking your rules is not going to be of benefit to you. So just don't do it. Set your order deadline. Stick to whatever that deadline is. Schedule your planning with a little bit of fudge factor so you're sure that you can get things done in the time you've allotted, and just do that. And if you miss out on an order that brings in an extra 50 or 100 or 700 or $1,000 or whatever it is, you'll make that money up in some other way. Don't worry about it. Honestly, money is not worth your mental health or your physical health. It really isn't. So set your order deadlines and stick to them. That's important. The next thing I want to talk about is one that I talk about in the Women in Garment Decoration group quite frequently. Recognize that happy and holiday aren't synonymous. And what I mean by this is not everyone loves the holidays. Not everyone finds the holidays a joyous occasion. If you've lost a family member, if you have family members that can't be with you, if you aren't close to your family members, if you suffer from depression or anxiety or any number of maladies that can make the holidays a tough thing for you, it's not always joy. It's not always, yay, it's Christmas. It's not always that. And for some people, the holidays are a tough time of year. And we need to recognize that in each other, and we need to recognize that in ourselves. So if you don't, like I said at the beginning of this, I don't particularly like Christmas. Christmas was not a fun holiday when I was growing up. I have not particularly found it to be, I'm not close particularly to my family, so I don't really have happy holiday family memories. Honestly, the best Christmases that I've had, I've just stayed home and had a quiet day and relaxed and did what I wanted and made myself a nice meal, and that was perfect for my purposes. I recognize that doesn't work for everybody, but the culture tells us that Christmas is supposed to be the most joyous time of year and we're all supposed to be happy and jolly, and it's supposed to be happy families hovering around the tree and sharing wonderful experiences. And that's not how it is for somebody. Some people don't have any money. Some people are not healthy. Some people are missing a loved one that has either died or can't be with them for whatever the reason is. Some people don't have good family relationships. There's a number of reasons. So be realistic about your expectations for the holiday. Don't assume it's going to be a Currier and Ives Christmas. Don't assume that everything is going to be perfect and lovely. And don't put pressure on yourself to make it that way, particularly if you're going through a trauma of some kind, or you're dealing with a trauma of some kind, or you have issues like depression or whatever. One of the things that I think is the most insidious thing that happens at the holidays is everybody is expected to suddenly just be happy and thrilled with life. And that isn't always the case. So just be aware of that and don't put pressure on yourself. And also be aware of the fact that you are in a business where the holidays are a very busy time of year. So there's going to be stress. There's going to be moments where you are sad or tired or stressed or angry or frustrated or whatever it is. And those are all natural emotions, and you're dealing with you have a lot on your plate. So don't put pressure on yourself to make everything the perfect vision of what the culture tells you that Christmas or the holidays are supposed to be, because that's too much for anybody to live up to. And it's a silly thing to do to yourself, especially when you're trying to deal with a workload that may be excessive. So don't do it. And I think the expectation that you have to be bright and shiny and thrilled with life during the holidays is one that we need to re-examine and accept that there are different versions of how you deal with the holidays. Some people like the big showy holidays, other people don't. Some people would rather just ignore the whole season and move on and have it be January 1st and it's New Year. Yay. You know? And I don't think that that anybody else has the right to tell you how you do the holidays. You do the holidays the way that works the best for you. Also, you should be able to say what you want to say during the holidays. And I know this is a controversial issue, but if I want to say happy holidays, shut up and don't tell me to say Merry Christmas, please. Thank you. Because it's not a political statement. It's just a seasonal greeting. And it's a seasonal greeting for me because I have friends for whom Christmas is not their holiday. So I say happy holidays. But sorry, that's a pet peeve of mine. Has nothing to do with the particular subject we're talking about, except I just think happy holidays is the more ecumenical. I don't even know how I say that word. I think for me, it's the greeting of choice. Let's put it that way. So anyway, don't put pressure on yourself to be happy all the time. Realize that you're going to be stressed, you're going to be frustrated, you might be angry, you might be tired, whatever it is. Recognize that you might be missing someone who has either passed on or can't be with you for the holidays. You may have family issues, you may have relationship issues, whatever it is. So be aware of that. I like this. Cindy says, one of our daughter's birthdays is December 24th. We do not even think about Christmas until after her birthday. And as I don't have a birthday around a holiday, but I imagine for people who do, that's got to be a total bummer because your birthday could be swallowed up by the holiday. So I like that you make a day about her and then Christmas is after. I like that. Though, what a nice Christmas present for you that you got a baby on December 24th. I like that. And I say got a baby like she showed up, like the stork brought her or Santa brought her down the chimney or something. I do know how babies come. I do. So anyway, I'm just saying, give yourself a break. Don't expect that you're going to be joyous the whole time this holiday season. Don't expect that everyone around you is going to be joyous this whole holiday season. We're all human. We all have stressors. And you don't need to make things more stressful by being unrealistic about what the season might be for you. So that's all I'm saying. The next thing is another thing that women are not great at, but it's something that we need to get better at, and that's ask for help. and expect to get it. And this really stems a lot from, more about personal Christmas than work Christmas, though work Christmas. More about organizing your family Christmas would be where I would say ask for help and expect to get it. Because if you have a family, you have kids, you have a husband, you have people, or you have a spouse, doesn't have to be a husband, could be a spouse, but you have someone or people who can take on some of the chores of making the holiday season fun or what they expect it to be. And a lot of times, again, it's a cultural thing. The women or the mom in the family is expected to be the one who creates the holiday, who makes the cookies, who cooks the meals, who decorates the house. And if you love doing that stuff, then okay, maybe you don't want to give those tasks to someone else. But you also have to be realistic. If you are trying to manage a full-time business and keep up with orders, then having to also deal with decorating the house and making whatever holiday treats you want to have, and perhaps planning food for a holiday party and buying gifts and curating all the stuff that goes into making a fun holiday experience. You're basically doing two jobs and you're only getting paid for one of them. And that's an issue. And granted, there are those who say, well, I love creating the holiday experience for my family. Okay, terrific. Then you should do as much of it as you can realistically do. But if there are things that you can hand off to other people that will lessen your stress and still allow you to create the type of holiday experience that you want, then for heaven's sakes, do it. And we have more comments here. I love that we're getting all these comments. This is great. Wendy says, this one is a great reminder. I just set up my order cutoff dates. Glad to hear it. And Kylene says, we meet over Zoom every morning during the work week to do EFT tapping to get our mindset in a good place to start the day. It is a very powerful meditation, not for everyone, but if you are interested, I can send you the Zoom link. So get hold of Kylene if you're interested in that. And Wendy says, I have all Christmas bought and shipped off my 1st November and shipped off by 1st November. Once I started doing this, makes my life so much easier. Okay, I get that now. And yeah, if you have a plan for getting things done, then you know that all your gifts are out, especially this year when we know that shipping has been weird. Shipping your gifts a little early is probably a good idea. And if you can do things in advance, that's a good idea too. But the point I want to make here is not the ask for help part. It's the expect to get it part. Because what happens with a lot of women is we ask for help for something, or we say, okay, I have this list of tasks and I need people to do these 5 things. And people half-heartedly say, oh, I'll do that one. Okay, I'll take care of this. And then they don't. So instead of going, well, you didn't do it, so it didn't get done, we scramble around and do all the things that we assign to other people. Or nobody volunteers and we scramble around and do everything anyway. So everybody else gets the benefit of the work that we did. And we're tired and exhausted and probably pissed because nobody helped. So we need to change our attitude. And the attitude is not building a nice holiday is our responsibility. Running our business is our responsibility. Building a nice holiday is the responsibility of everybody that is participating in the holiday. So everybody can take part in making it happen. And this is something that, as I said, women are culturally, societally, and sometimes genetically trained to be kind of bad at a lot of times. It's hard to ask for help, first of all. I mean, there are some of us, I will put my hand up for this one. You can't see this if you're listening to the podcast version, but I did. I'm terrible at asking for help. I stink at it. I hate it. It feels vulnerable. I don't like it. I don't do it. And I need to learn how to do it better. But when I do ask for help, I have learned that I expect that I'm going to get help. And if I don't get help, then that person probably isn't going to hang out in my life for very long, because I don't need to take care of other people. I've spent a lot of my life doing that. I like to think I'm a fairly nurturing person, but there comes a point where it's like, hey guys, we all need to pitch in here. If we want this to happen, we need to all get things done. So you ask for help and you expect you're going to get it. And if you don't get it, what you don't do is scurry around and do all the tasks that everybody else said they were going to take care of, because that doesn't solve anything. Part of the lesson is, if you take responsibility for something, you do it. And if you don't do it, then it doesn't get done and you miss out on the yummy cookies that you said you would make, or the really cool Christmas decorations that you wanted to put up, or whatever it is. And I'm sorry if you can hear that. The condo maintenance guys are outside blowing leaves and being really noisy, which it's lovely of them to decide to do this today. And we have more comments. Carolyn says, today I'm ordering my bulk items for the Scandinavian gift shops. Good for you. And Evelyn says, I almost never get help. Stopped me from doing it. Now they ask what they can do, or we meet and divide it. There you go. That's the way to do it. If you're not getting help, don't fill in for the people that you ask to help you, because the only way that they'll learn is if they don't get whatever it is that they promised they would do. If you step in and cover everything, then all you're teaching them is, oh, don't worry about it. Mom or Aunt Sue or grandma or whoever it is going to step in and take care of everything. And I say this as someone who is a caretaker in a big way. And I did for a very long time step in and take care of things. I am learning now not to do that. Carolyn says, Scandinavian holiday way. No joy until you suffer first. I don't know that that's the best idea, but. And Ghosta says, ask for help is hard, and in my upbringing equals weakness. And that is still in my bone structure, but working on it. And yeah, I get that. And it's in mine too. It's in mine too, Ghosta, because I grew up not getting a lot of help. So it's hard for me to ask, because I feel like that's vulnerability. And if you ask and you don't get help, it can make you feel really bad. So I tend not to ask, but I'm learning to get better at that, because you sometimes have to. And particularly this time of year, when you're dealing with a lot of deadlines and you're dealing with trying to run a business and meet customer expectations, asking for help may be the thing that saves you. But like I said, if you ask for help, expect you're going to get it. And if you don't get it, then whatever you ask people to help you with just doesn't get done. That's how it goes. That's life. And people will learn that way. And if they don't learn that way, then you may want to rethink the people you have in your life, honestly, because we teach other people helplessness. If we're going to do everything, we teach other people to assume we're going to do everything. So teach the people in your life a different lesson. And the lesson is, I run a business, I'm doing a lot of stuff, and I deserve to have time to relax and sleep and eat and not be stressed this holiday season. So if you want the sort of holiday that you want, you're going to have to contribute. And honestly, people who know how to do things and people who are willing to pitch in are the best kind of people anyway. So if you have kids, these are the sort of people that you want to grow. So ask for help, expect to get it. The next thing is tough for my perfectionist loving soul to say, but it's true. Aim for possible, not perfect. And especially around the holidays, for some reason, people tend to have this vision of how everything should be, with a perfect tree and a perfectly decorated house and perfect presents for everyone and perfect food, and it's all going to be perfectly done and look like it's in Martha Stewart's or Oprah's magazine or something. Now, the trick about Martha Stewart and Oprah is they have a staff of probably hundreds of people who make their perfectly curated holiday parties and photos. They ain't there hanging ornaments on the tree, except maybe for a picture. It's not how it works. So keep that in mind and also be realistic. If you have a ton of orders, if you're going to be working really hard right up to the week before Christmas or whatever you've scheduled, then realize that it may not be possible to do 14 batches of cookies. And it may not be possible to decorate the entire house in 3 Christmas trees or whatever it is you want to do. That it may not be possible to make homemade gifts for your book club or whatever it is. And be realistic about what the possibilities are, because the surest way to make yourself insane is to try to make everything perfect, to try to be the perfect business owner, to try to do everything perfectly for your customers, to try to do everything perfectly for whomever you're having the holiday with, to try to just do the holidays perfectly. This is not a contest. You don't win anything if you do it well. And honestly, of the two, if you're running a business, I think if you're striving for perfection, that's where you want to put your focus, honestly, because that's your livelihood. If your family Christmas isn't absolutely perfect, life goes on. People will live if there's only 4 kinds of cookies instead of 6. People will live if they don't have the traditional whatever it is that takes 5 hours to make that you usually have for Christmas. The thing is, we put so much pressure on ourselves, especially around the holidays. And it doesn't have to be perfect. There is very little perfection actually in the world. But we still strive for it, and we still aim for it, and we still put pressure on ourselves to make things perfect. And then we feel bad when everything doesn't go as beautifully and perfectly as we wanted it to. And that's silly, because there is really, perfect is an unrealistic expectation. Fun, happy, joyous, restful, whatever adjective you want to use to apply to your holiday, aim for that. Don't aim for perfect. And the reason I keep bringing this up, and the reason that I'm pounding on this one a little bit, is because we tend to, if you're a business owner, you're already probably in the high achiever percentile. And people who are in that percentile tend to overestimate how much they can do and tend to think that everything they do has to be perfect. You have goals, you want to do everything well, you want to offer everybody around you the best of yourself that you can. And so you put a lot of pressure on yourselves to make everything just superlative in some way. Don't do it. Because what happens is you're probably not going to get there, number one. And number two, you'll be so stressed and tired and probably dehydrated and hungry that you're not going to enjoy this perfect moment that you tried to create for your family. Or you're not going to enjoy this perfect moment with this customer, which you, when they see the order that you busted your ass to get done and which turned out really awesome. So aim for possible, not for perfect. And let's see what other. And Kylene also has a Breaking Through Limiting Beliefs workshop that she thinks could be really beneficial during this time to keep moving forward, especially with the busy time approaching, September 25th on Saturday. She would love to help. So if you are interested in that, again, get a hold of Kylene and see what you think. And Christmas is on a Saturday this year, so work all day on Friday. Yeah, Cindy, that's possible. You could do that. Definitely something to consider, but I would say the Friday before Christmas, you should have all your orders done and you should have all your Christmas tasks done, and you can just go ahead and relax. Remember, it's what I said. Aim for possible, not perfect. And hopefully, your possibility is that the Friday before Christmas, you're not running around trying to get things done, because that is not going to get you where you need to be at all. And finally, the last thing, follow a healthy routine. If you normally eat a certain way, make sure you're staying on that program. If you exercise, make sure you're still exercising. If you don't exercise, start exercising, because oh my goodness, it helps with stress a lot. So Cindy says, you do not know my customers. This is true. I don't, Cindy. But remember what I said about saying no? So it's a good word. We should all learn it. And Friday should be a day of wassail. There you go. You tell them, Martha. So basically, make sure that you're getting enough sleep if you can, or at least a reasonable amount of sleep. Make sure that you're taking time to exercise. Make sure you're taking time to eat. Again, part of this can all be accomplished by scheduling. If you're looking at the orders you're taking in, if you're planning realistic timeframes for those orders, and if you're willing to cut things off when you realize you've gotten to the point that you can't take any more on and realistically get it done and still be able to eat, sleep, go to the bathroom, take a shower, all that stuff that humans need to do, then you need to adjust your plan. And the thing is, especially for women, especially when we're trying to get a lot done, the first thing that we jettison is taking care of ourselves. You all know this. You've all done it. So you need to prioritize looking after yourself. You need to prioritize sleeping. You need to prioritize eating right. You need to prioritize getting a decent amount of exercise and being able to relax and all that kind of stuff. And I can hear all of you out there right now going, but you don't know my customers, or it's my busy time of year, or I have to do this, or I'm not going to make the money I need to make. And all those things are true. But your health and your well-being, mental and physical, is more important than money. There, I said it. I know, lightning did not strike me down. So this is something I had to learn too, because I still have a tendency to work a lot. And I still have a tendency to have 59 projects that I think I'm going to do. And I'm bad at asking for help, as we previously established. And the first thing that I will allow to slide if I let that happen is suddenly I'm not exercising every day, or I'm eating what's quick and not what's healthy, because healthy takes a little longer. And then my sleep goes, and I don't sleep great. I'm not a good sleeper at the best of times, but if I let the rest of my exercise routine, and if I start getting stressed, then I sleep even more poorly, which it's a vicious cycle, because if you sleep badly, then you get more stressed, and then you let things slide because you're sleeping badly, and then it's a big round circle, and who needs that? So you just need to be aware that you need to follow the routine. You know what you need to do to be healthy. You know what you need to do to take care of yourself, whether that's, sneaking in a bath, an hour-long bubble bath every night, or exercising in the morning, or whatever it is that you do. You need to make sure you do those things. And if you start cutting corners on one, you'll start cutting corners on all, and then you have a mess, and that's no good. And Kylene says, love that you are chatting about this now. So important. I think it's important too, which is why I wanted to do this show. And it was on my schedule to do. It just got moved up because of the guest not being able to appear. So I think it is a really important thing. And I wanted to get this out there now to hopefully plant the seed in some people's brains. So when crazy time comes, they don't get crazy. And Carolyn says, sleep is the elusive dream of the September-December rush. I know sleep is tough. And I know when you have a lot of stuff to do and a lot of holiday orders, sleeping is not high on your agenda. But again, if you're looking at your orders realistically, if you're planning your schedule to make sure that you have allotted time to get things done, then you can plan in sleep just like you plan in everything else. And okay, maybe you're not sleeping 8 hours, you're sleeping 6 hours. But you're getting some sleep. You're getting a reasonable amount of sleep. And Carolyn also says, I find nutrition is my best help. Cut down on sugar and junk carbs. And yes, that's true too. It is not any harder to eat strawberries and chocolate hummus than it is to eat frosted Christmas cookies. It's really not. And again, if you're planning, if you're thinking about what you're going to need, you can also prep some meals and freeze them. So you can pull them out and prep some nutritious meals, I should say, and freeze them. So you can pull them out and stick them in the oven or stick them in the microwave and have a nutritious meal without a whole lot of work. And you can figure out, can I prep vegetables? Don't forget too, there are grocery delivery services. If you don't have time to go to the grocery store, that's something you can eliminate. You can use a grocery delivery service and get fresh vegetables and fruit and the things that you need delivered to your house. As soon as this is done, I am going to get in my car and go to pick up my order from our local farmers market because they have an online ordering system. So I can go online, see everything that's going to be at the farmers market, and then drive and pick it up. And it's like a 3-minute thing. I don't have to deal with the crowds. I don't have to worry about missing it. And it takes me like no time to do. So it's like an amazing innovation. And I'm getting fresh vegetables fresh from farms in my area. A lot of places have similar programs, or even just shipped, or, I don't remember what the other one is right now, but any of the grocery delivery services. Give yourself a little bit of a break and DoorDash something or Uber Eats or whatever it is in your area. Don't expect to cook every day. And I like this from Evelyn. Way to go, Evelyn. She's already freezing things. A lot of this, honestly, is planning. If you know you're going to be busy, what can you do in advance? What can you sub out to other people? Can you hire a house cleaning service for a few months if things are being crazy? Now, I know you're saying, oh, well, that's money. And then the whole point of what I'm doing right now is to try to make money. But one of the things that I've learned, and this is something that sounds silly that it was a revelation to me, but it kind of was, is that, what? If I hire some of the things out, then I have more time to do the work that I want to do, and I do it better. So yes, maybe spending money on having a house cleaner or spending money on having groceries delivered, is more than you would spend normally. But if it eliminates your stress, if it gets a task done without taking time away from other things that you need to do, then you're ahead of the game. And you're less stressed, and you're healthier. So why is spending money on ourselves and our health and our well-being, mental and physical, a bad thing? Somebody explain that to me, because I don't get it. Because I have found, and I don't do it all the time, but if I have a really busy week, I'll order groceries delivered, and it's amazing. It's one less thing I have to do. It's one less thing I have to worry about. So I'm just telling you, one of the things that women are the worst at is taking care of themselves. And that's what this whole program is about. This program is about, we know the holidays are coming. We know that for a lot of decorators, the holidays are a very stressful and tough time of year. So here are some things to think about. Here are some things you can do. And Ghosta, you are a man after my own heart. Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so. Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I believe, though that could be one of the Dirk Gently books. I'm not familiar. I'm not entirely sure which one that is, but I recognize the quote, and I love Douglas Adams, and I have all his books. Anyway, side note. So we're getting to the end of the hour. I have gone on about taking care of yourself now for almost an hour. And I think it's important. And I'm going to be talking about it in the Women in Garment Decoration group, which I'm going to put up again just so you can all see it. I will also be talking about it on the Women in Business Facebook page, so you can go check that out. And also for those of you who are Applique Getaway fans, I would recommend, if you haven't joined the Applique Getaway group, you do that, because virtual Applique Getaway is coming soon, and I will be releasing details about that anytime now. I'm working on recruiting vendors right now. I'm very excited. It's going to be really fun. I'm hoping to get some really cool classes and instructors for all of you to enjoy. So if you're not in that group, you should join it, because details on virtual Applique Getaway are coming, and you are not going to want to miss this. Trust me. All right, everybody. I think we have reached the end of another show. Facebook user, I'm not sure who this is, but thank you for this live today. I got here late, but always look forward to your lives. Thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate that. I don't know, honestly, at this point, what next week is going to be. I'm talking to some people about possibly having a guest. It may be just me again. Either way, I will try to come up with a topic that is useful and beneficial to all of you. As always, if you have a topic or a guest suggestion, or if you would like to be a guest, let me know. And you can always leave a comment in the Women in Garment Decoration group. You can message me on Facebook. You can email me, whatever you want to do. But if you have suggestions, I would love to hear them. If you have contacts that you think would make a good guest, please make the introduction. Any of that is wonderful. Thank you. Everybody have a good day. And I will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.